What happens when a lifetime of memories goes up in flames? The recent Los Angeles wildfires devastated communities, leaving even the wealthiest and most iconic figures grappling with unimaginable loss. In this video, we explore the personal stories of 20 celebrities who lost their homes, from Bella Hadid's quiet resilience to Jamie Lee Curtis's powerful call to action. Who witnessed their home burn live on TV? Which legacy property was reduced to ashes? And how did these stars turn their pain into hope? Let's find out. 1. Sandra Lee's emotional farewell. For Sandra Lee, her Malibu home was more than just a place to live. It was her sanctuary, a haven where she had rebuilt herself through life's challenges. But as the wildfires drew closer, she was faced with the grim reality that her refuge was in jeopardy. The skies darkened with smoke, and the once familiar scent of the ocean was overtaken by the acrid sting of burning wood. On the morning of 7th January, Sandra shared her heartbreak with her followers on social media. "This home has been my safe place," she wrote, her words raw with emotion. "It's where I healed, where I grew. Watching it threatened by flames feels like losing a part of myself." The wildfires reached within miles of her coastal retreat, forcing Sandra to make the difficult decision to evacuate. As she drove away, she couldn't help but glance in the rearview mirror, the thought lingering, "Will I ever see it again?" Sandra's story was just the beginning. For her, like so many others, the wildfires were not just about losing a home, but losing the memories and peace tied to it. 2. Mark Hamill's narrow escape. As Sandra Lee shared her heartbreak, Mark Hamill was facing his own moment of crisis. Known to many as Luke Skywalker, Hamill was no stranger to epic battles, but this time the stakes were real. His beloved Malibu home, nestled in the picturesque hills overlooking the ocean, was directly in the wildfire's path. On the evening of 7th January, with the flames advancing and evacuation orders spreading rapidly, Mark and his family had to act quickly. Mark described the harrowing experience in an Instagram post the following day. "We left at the last minute," he wrote, recalling how he and his wife, Marilu York, packed what little they could before heading for safety. The drive down the smoke-filled roads was fraught with tension. There were small fires on both sides of the road as we approached Pacific Coast Highway, he shared, his words painting a picture of the chaos unfolding around them. This wasn't Mark's first encounter with such devastation. He drew comparisons to the Malibu fires of 1993. But this time, the scale felt even larger, the losses even heavier. As he and his family arrived at their daughter Chelsea's home in Hollywood, relief was tempered by the uncertainty of what they'd return to. Mark's experience mirrored that of countless others, an urgent, heart-wrenching escape, driven by the need to protect what truly matters: family. 3. Julianne Hough's quick thinking. While Mark Hamill was navigating smoke-filled roads, Julianne Hough was racing against time in Hollywood Hills. On the night of 7th January, a fire broke out alarmingly close to her home, its glow casting an ominous light on the nearby skyline. Julianne, known for her grace and poise on stage, had to act quickly. With her family and pets in tow, she began packing essentials, the crackling sound of flames growing louder in the distance. She took to Instagram to urge her followers to evacuate promptly. "This fire is moving fast," she warned. "Please don't wait. Get out now before traffic traps you." Julianne's swift action was a stark reminder of how quickly these fires could turn life upside down. She later shared a video from her car, her voice trembling as she reassured her fans that she and her loved ones were safe. But the fear in her words was evident as she described leaving behind the home where countless memories had been made. Hours later, Julianne posted an update confirming their safety and expressing gratitude to the firefighters who were risking their lives. "We're safe, but my heart aches for everyone else affected," she wrote. Her story highlighted the urgency and unpredictability of the wildfires, underscoring the critical need to stay prepared and alert. For Julianne, the journey was not just about leaving behind possessions, but embracing the relief of knowing her family was safe. 4. Mel Gibson's family retreat destroyed. As Julianne Hough sought safety, another beloved figure, Mel Gibson, faced devastating news. The actor and director, renowned for his larger-than-life roles, was away in Austin on 7th January, recording an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience when the wildfires engulfed his Malibu home. Mel's property, purchased in 2010 for $8 million, was more than just a luxurious retreat. It was a sanctuary where he and his family had spent countless cherished moments. Positioned in a serene coastal area with breathtaking views, the home was a haven of peace, a stark contrast to the inferno that consumed it. Speaking to News Nation after learning of the loss, Mel expressed the weight of his emotions. "It's obviously devastating. You build a life in a place, fill it with memories, and then, in hours, it's all gone." His sorrow was palpable as he recounted the home's importance to his family, from holidays spent together to quiet evenings by the ocean. Mel also reflected on the bravery of the firefighters who fought tirelessly to save lives and property, even as the blaze grew more ferocious. He emphasized the value of family over material possessions, sharing his gratitude for their safety amid the loss. For Mel, the wildfire served as a cruel reminder of how quickly life's most treasured things can vanish. Yet, amidst the ashes, he found solace in the enduring bond of family. 5. Paris Hilton's heartbreaking live witness. While Mel Gibson processed the news of his loss, Paris Hilton endured the heartbreak of watching her home burn in real time. On the evening of 8th January, Paris was gathered with her family, glued to a live broadcast as the wildfire swept through Malibu. The flames, relentless and uncontrollable, devoured the house she had lovingly called home for years. Paris later took to Instagram to share her sorrow. "This house was our dream," she wrote. "It's where Phoenix took his first steps and where we imagined building a lifetime of memories." Her words captured the profound emotional toll of losing not just a property, but the moments that made it irreplaceable. As she reflected on the devastation, Paris also expressed gratitude for her family's safety. Together, they had evacuated earlier that day, prioritizing their well-being as the fire advanced. Despite the relief of being safe, the sight of her home being reduced to ash was almost too much to bear. Paris's story resonated with many who followed the unfolding disaster, highlighting the shared pain of losing a cherished space, whether modest or grand. She used her platform to call attention to the need for community support, urging her followers to donate to relief organizations and support firefighters risking their lives. For Paris Hilton, the wildfires marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, one filled with hope, resilience, and a determination to rebuild. 6. Mandy Moore's safe escape. As Paris Hilton reflected on her devastating loss, Mandy Moore and her family were grappling with the immediate danger of evacuation. On 8th January, the wildfire threatened their newly renovated Spanish-style home in the picturesque hills of Los Angeles. For Mandy, the safety of her 3 young children, Gus, Ozzie, and Lou, was her top priority. With flames spreading quickly, Mandy and her husband Taylor Goldsmith acted swiftly to pack essentials and secure their family's safety. The chaos of the moment was compounded by the difficulty of explaining the situation to her children, who were too young to fully understand the gravity of the disaster. Their pets, equally cherished, were bundled into the car as the family made their way to safety. On Instagram stories, Mandy shared her heartbreak, writing, "Trying to shield the kids from the immense sadness and worry I feel. It's hard to explain, but we're so thankful for friends who've given us a place to stay." Her words resonated deeply, capturing the emotional weight of protecting her family while facing the possibility of losing everything. Mandy also expressed her gratitude to firefighters and first responders, acknowledging their tireless efforts to save lives and homes. "Praying for everyone in our beautiful city," she wrote, her sentiment reflecting the shared grief and resilience of a community united in tragedy. Though the fate of their home remained uncertain, Mandy's focus on family and hope for recovery illuminated a path forward amidst the devastation. 7. Billy Crystal's generational home, reduced to ashes. While Mandy Moore's family found refuge, Billy Crystal and his wife Janice mourned the loss of their Pacific Palisades home, a property that had been a cornerstone of their family for generations. Purchased in the late 1970s, this house was where they raised their children and later welcomed grandchildren. The wildfires reached Pacific Palisades on 8th of January, engulfing the Crystal family's cherished home in a matter of hours. For Billy, the loss was deeply personal. "There are no words to describe the devastation of what we are witnessing," he shared in a heartfelt statement. "This house was filled with love, laughter, and memories that spanned decades." The property had been more than just a residence. It was a gathering place for family holidays, birthdays, and quiet evenings filled with stories and warmth. Now, the once vibrant home stood in ruins, a stark reminder of the wildfire's merciless power. Billy's reflections also extended to his neighbors, many of whom had experienced similar losses. "Our hearts ache for our friends and the community," he wrote, emphasizing the collective grief shared by those affected. Despite the overwhelming sorrow, Billy's message carried a note of hope. He spoke of rebuilding not just homes, but the spirit of the community that had been so deeply shaken. For the Crystal family, the wildfire marked the end of an era, but also the beginning of a journey toward healing and resilience. 8. Cameron Mathison's family devastation. As Billy Crystal reflected on the loss of his generational home, Cameron Mathison faced a similarly heartbreaking reality. On 9th of January, Cameron confirmed that his Malibu home, a sanctuary for his family, had been completely destroyed by the wildfires. For Cameron, the house symbolized more than just a place to live. It was the setting for countless cherished moments with his ex-wife Vanessa and their two children, Lucas and Lila. The family had dreamed of passing the property down to the next generation, envisioning a legacy of love and togetherness tied to its walls. In an emotional Instagram post, Cameron shared an image of the remains of his home, reduced to charred rubble. "We are safe, but this is what's left of our beautiful home," he wrote. "The place where our children were raised and where they dreamed of building their own families someday." His words struck a chord with many, highlighting the deep emotional impact of such a loss. Despite the devastation, Cameron expressed his gratitude for the safety of his loved ones and his appreciation for the firefighters who battled the flames. His reflections were both heart-wrenching and inspiring, showing a resolve to focus on what truly mattered: family, health, and hope for the future. Cameron's story was a stark reminder of how quickly lives can change and how resilience becomes a necessity when faced with such unimaginable loss. 9. Diane Warren's 30-year haven lost. While Cameron Mathison came to terms with his loss, songwriter Diane Warren faced her own tragedy. Diane's beachfront Malibu home, a treasured retreat she had owned for nearly 3 decades, was completely consumed by the wildfire on 9th January. For Diane, the home was more than just a residence. It was her sanctuary, where she found inspiration for many of her iconic songs. Its panoramic views of the Pacific Ocean provided solace and creativity, a serene backdrop to her award-winning career. On the day of the fire, Diane posted a poignant image of a rainbow shining over the smoldering ruins of her property. "This is the last photo I took of Leah's Rock from my beachfront home," she wrote. "It seems like the house is gone, but there's a rainbow, a sign of hope for all of us affected by this tragedy." Her words captured the bittersweet emotions of losing something irreplaceable while finding a glimmer of optimism amidst the devastation. Diane's loss extended beyond personal grief. She expressed deep concern for her community and for the wildlife displaced by the fires. Her message was one of unity, urging others to come together in support of relief efforts and to help those who had lost everything. For Diane, the destruction of her haven marked the end of an era, but also ignited her resolve to rebuild and keep moving forward, fueled by the resilience of her spirit and her community. 10. Eugene Levy's close call. As Diane Warren found solace in a rainbow over the ruins of her home, Eugene Levy narrowly escaped a similar fate. On 9th of January, the beloved actor known for Schitt's Creek faced a harrowing evacuation from his family's home in Topanga Canyon as the wildfires loomed dangerously close. The canyon, known for its serene landscapes and artistic community, was transformed into a battleground as smoke thickened and flames crept closer. "The smoke looked so black and dense," Eugene recounted in a phone interview. "I couldn't see the flames, but the sky told me enough it was time to go." Packing up quickly, Eugene and his family focused on essentials, documents, keepsakes, and their beloved pets. The evacuation was tense, with roads congested as neighbors fled the encroaching fire. As they drove away, the sight of their community shrouded in heavy smoke was a grim reminder of the wildfire's ferocity. Fortunately, the Levy family reached safety before the fire could claim their home. But Eugene's words reflected the lingering fear. "We don't know what we'll return to, but we're grateful to be together." His experience highlighted the fragility of safety when nature's fury is unleashed and underscored the importance of acting swiftly during emergencies. Though his home was spared, Eugene's close call served as a stark reminder of the urgency and unpredictability of the wildfires, leaving his family shaken but profoundly grateful. 11. Milo Ventimiglia's life imitates art. While Eugene Levy found relief in narrowly escaping the fire, Milo Ventimiglia faced a more tragic outcome. On 9th January, the This Is Us actor confirmed that his Malibu home had been completely destroyed. The loss hit Milo hard, not just because of the physical destruction, but also because of its eerie similarity to his character's story on the show. In This Is Us, Milo's character, Jack Pearson, dies from smoke inhalation during a house fire, leaving a profound emotional impact on fans. Now, life has imitated art in a cruel twist of fate. Milo reflected on this unsettling parallel during an interview with CBS News. "It's impossible not to see the connection," he said. "Watching the footage of my home burning reminded me of those scenes. It felt deeply heavy and surreal." Milo and his pregnant wife, Yara Mariano, had evacuated earlier, taking their dog and a few belongings with them. They watched in real time via security cameras as the flames consumed their home. The footage was heartbreaking, capturing not just the loss of a structure, but the destruction of memories tied to it. Despite the devastation, Milo expressed gratitude for his family's safety and emphasized the importance of perspective. "Things can be replaced, people can't," he said, his words offering a glimmer of hope. For Milo, the wildfire marked a painful chapter, but it also reinforced the value of family and resilience in the face of overwhelming loss. 12. Whitney Cummings' urgent plea. As Milo Ventimiglia grappled with the loss of his home, Whitney Cummings found herself in the midst of a frantic evacuation. On 9th of January, the comedian and actress shared her experience as the wildfires rapidly approached her Los Angeles property. For Whitney, the speed of the fire's advance was alarming, and she knew quick action was essential. Whitney took to Instagram stories to warn her followers about the dangers of waiting too long to evacuate. "Sometimes leaving too early clogs the roads and makes things harder for the firefighters," she explained. "But this fire is moving so fast. It's not the time to take risks." Her words reflected the urgency felt by so many as the flames threatened to overtake entire neighborhoods. With her family and pets safely evacuated, Whitney's attention turned to raising awareness about the importance of preparedness. She shared her personal experience to encourage others to act swiftly, emphasizing that possessions could be replaced but lives could not. Her heartfelt posts resonated with her audience, inspiring many to prioritize safety over material belongings. Despite the chaos, Whitney found a moment to reflect on the bravery of firefighters and first responders who risked their lives to protect others. "These people are heroes," she said, urging her followers to support wildfire relief efforts in any way they could. For Whitney, the wildfire was a stark reminder of life's unpredictability and the power of unity in times of crisis. 13. Melissa Rivers' irreplaceable loss. While Whitney Cummings focused on spreading awareness, Melissa Rivers faced the devastating reality of losing her family home. On 10th January, the wildfires claimed Melissa's residence in a neighborhood known for its charm and history. For Melissa, the loss went beyond the physical structure. It was a blow to her family's legacy. In a deeply emotional call to CNN, Melissa described the heartbreak of watching her home reduced to ashes. "My heart is broken, not just for myself, but for everyone going through this," she said. Among the chaos of evacuation, Melissa made a poignant decision. Instead of taking a cherished family photo of her mother, Joan Rivers, she chose to save a drawing. "The artwork was irreplaceable," she explained, "a piece of our history that I couldn't leave behind." The decision highlighted the personal weight of such tragedies, where people are forced to make split-second choices about what matters most. For Melissa, the loss of her home symbolized the destruction of memories tied to her family's shared space. Despite her grief, Melissa also spoke about the overwhelming kindness she encountered during the evacuation. Neighbors, firefighters, and strangers came together to support one another, proving that even in the darkest times, humanity shines brightest. Melissa's story was a powerful reminder of the emotional toll of wildfires and the strength found in community resilience as families like hers began to rebuild their lives from the ashes. 14. Jamie Lee Curtis's call to action. As Melissa Rivers reflected on the loss of her family's history, Jamie Lee Curtis turned her focus toward making a difference. On 10th January, after narrowly escaping the wildfire that threatened her home, the iconic actress made an emotional appearance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Her message was clear. This was a time for action, not just reflection. Jamie's Malibu home had been in the wildfire's path for days, and while she and her family managed to evacuate safely, the uncertainty weighed heavily on her. "My community and possibly my home is on fire," she wrote on Instagram. "Many of my friends are losing everything. It's heartbreaking to witness this level of destruction." Determined to do more than share her sorrow, Jamie announced a donation of $1 million to wildfire relief efforts. The funds would support displaced families and firefighters who were battling around the clock to contain the flames. Her heartfelt plea to her audience was as powerful as her donation. If you're in a position to help, please do. Every bit counts. Jamie's generosity inspired many, highlighting how celebrities can use their platforms to amplify awareness and aid during crises. Her actions demonstrated a commitment to not only rebuilding her own life, but also helping her community recover. For Jamie, the wildfires underscored the fragility of life, and her call to action became a beacon of hope for those facing unimaginable loss. 15. Barbara Corcoran's community effort. While Jamie Lee Curtis used her platform to rally support, Barbara Corcoran, the Shark Tank star, took direct action to help her community. On 11th January, Barbara's beloved mobile home community in Pacific Palisades was completely destroyed by the wildfires. Known as Tahan Terrace, the neighborhood was a close-knit enclave where Barbara had found peace and inspiration for years. Barbara described the devastation in an emotional Instagram post. "My little slice of paradise is gone," she wrote. "The entire community has been wiped out. It's a loss that words can't capture." The fire left behind a haunting landscape of blackened earth and twisted metal, erasing the homes and memories of dozens of families. Determined to help her neighbors rebuild, Barbara quickly launched a GoFundMe campaign to provide relief for those affected. Her initiative raised thousands of dollars within days, a testament to her influence and the generosity of her followers. "This isn't just about me, it's about all the people who've lost everything," she shared. "We'll rebuild together one step at a time." Barbara also took time to praise the firefighters who had fought valiantly to protect the area, emphasizing their heroism and sacrifice. Her efforts became a rallying point for the community, bringing people together in the face of overwhelming loss. For Barbara, the wildfires marked a devastating chapter, but they also reaffirmed her belief in the strength of community and the power of collective action. 16. Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt's new beginning. As Barbara Corcoran spearheaded efforts to rebuild her community, Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt faced the devastating loss of their dream home in Malibu. On 11th of January, the wildfires swept through their property, leaving little more than ash and rubble behind. For the couple, the house represented years of hard work and dreams realized, now reduced to painful memories. Heidi shared her heartbreak on Instagram, writing, "This was the house we prayed for, the one we dreamed of raising our children in. Now it's gone, just like that." Her words captured the emotional toll that so many families, celebrity or not, were grappling with in the aftermath of the fires. Spencer's sister, Stephanie Pratt, expressed her anguish as well. In a post, she recounted how their father had tried to save the house but was overpowered by the relentless winds and flames. "There was nothing anyone could do," she wrote, highlighting the helplessness that so many felt in the face of the wildfire's fury. Despite the devastation, Heidi and Spencer remained focused on rebuilding their lives. "We'll start over," Heidi said in an emotional update. "It's hard to see it now, but we'll create something beautiful again." Their resolve to move forward became a beacon of hope for others, proving that even in the face of profound loss, there is always the possibility of a new beginning. 17. Jeff Bridges, and the loss of a legacy. While Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt envisioned their new beginning, Jeff Bridges mourned the destruction of a family treasure. On 12th January, the wildfires claimed the iconic actor's Malibu home, a property that had been in his family for generations. The house, perched on a bluff overlooking the Pacific Ocean, was as much a part of the Bridges family history as it was of Malibu's landscape. For Jeff, the loss was deeply personal. "This wasn't just a house, it was a legacy," he said during an interview. The home had been a retreat for decades, a place where he and his siblings, Bo and Lucinda, shared countless family gatherings and created lifelong memories. When the evacuation orders came, Jeff and his family had little time to react. They managed to pack a few sentimental items before leaving, but as they drove away, the sight of smoke rising behind them was an ominous reminder of what they might lose. By the time they returned, the property had been reduced to ash. Despite his sorrow, Jeff expressed gratitude for the safety of his family. "We lost a part of our history, but we didn't lose each other," he said, emphasizing the importance of perspective during such a tragedy. For Jeff Bridges, the wildfires were a painful reminder of the impermanence of material possessions, but they also reinforced the enduring power of family and resilience. 18. Bella Hadid's quiet resilience. As Jeff Bridges mourned the loss of his family legacy, Bella Hadid faced her own tragedy in silence. On 12th January, the supermodel confirmed that her Los Angeles home, a stunning modern property nestled in Beverly Hills, had been completely destroyed by the wildfires. Known for keeping her personal life private, Bella's response to the loss was understated yet deeply emotional. Bella shared a single post on Instagram stories, showing the charred remains of what was once her sanctuary. "This was home," she wrote simply, her words conveying the weight of the loss. The home, which she had purchased just a few years earlier, was a retreat where she could escape the spotlight and recharge amid her demanding career. While Bella didn't share many details publicly, sources close to her revealed that the evacuation had been sudden and stressful. She managed to save a few sentimental items but was forced to leave behind most of her belongings. Her focus, like many others, was on safety and the well-being of those around her. Despite her heartbreak, Bella used her platform to amplify messages of support for wildfire relief efforts. She urged her followers to donate to organizations aiding displaced families and emphasized the importance of community during such crises. For Bella, the wildfires were a painful chapter, but her quiet resilience and commitment to helping others highlighted her strength in the face of devastation. 19. Landon and Alabama Barker's sudden evacuation. While Mark Hamill expressed gratitude for his family's safety, Landon and Alabama Barker, children of musician Travis Barker, shared their own harrowing experience of escaping the wildfires. On 12th January, the siblings were forced to evacuate their Pacific Palisades home as the flames crept closer, leaving them with little time to act. Landon, aged 21, took to Instagram stories to update his followers. "Just evacuated," he wrote alongside a solemn selfie, "praying for everyone affected by the fires." His sister Alabama, aged 19, echoed his sentiments in her own post, expressing concern for their neighbors and urging others to stay safe. The Barker home, a modern property with sweeping views of the Los Angeles skyline, was ultimately consumed by the flames. The loss was deeply felt by the family, who had poured love and effort into creating a space that reflected their bond. Despite the destruction, Landon and Alabama expressed gratitude for the overwhelming support they received from friends, family, and fans. "We're devastated, but we'll rebuild," Alabama shared in a follow-up post. "Thank you to everyone who reached out. It means the world to us." Their story highlighted the sudden and devastating nature of the wildfires, reminding everyone of the importance of vigilance and community support in the face of such tragedies. For the Barker family, the road ahead would be challenging, but their resolve to move forward remained unshaken. 20. Bozoma St John's heartfelt farewell. As the Barker family began to process their loss, Bozoma St John, star of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, shared her own emotional farewell to the Malibu home she had dreamed of for years. On 13th January, Bozoma took to Instagram to confirm the devastating news that her house, nestled in the scenic hills of Malibu, had been completely consumed by the wildfires. "This was the house I prayed for," she wrote in her post. "The house I worked so hard for. The house where I built my life with my daughter, Lel. And now it's gone." Her words captured the heartache of losing not just a physical structure, but a place filled with irreplaceable memories and hopes for the future. Bozoma recounted the moments before the evacuation, describing the frantic rush to pack essentials while flames loomed on the horizon. Like so many others, she found herself making impossible choices about what to save. "We grabbed what we could," she said, "but there was no time for anything else." Despite her grief, Bozoma expressed gratitude for the safety of her family and neighbors. She also praised the bravery of firefighters who worked tirelessly to protect the community. "It's hard to find the words right now," she concluded, "but I know we'll rebuild and we'll support each other through this." Bozoma's story echoed the shared resilience of all those affected by the wildfires, a testament to strength in the face of unimaginable loss. With that, we have reached the end of today's video. If you have come this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.